Okay, hello everyone. Ang lecture natin tungkol sa positive psychology, ang title, Self-Determination Theory and the First Humans. Ang goal natin for this lecture is I want to introduce or to further reinforce self-determination theory, which I think is a very important theory, lalong-lalo na kung psych major ka na nag-aaral ng positive psychology. Kaya itong lecture na to under to ng positive psych, malaki ang kinalaman ng self-determination theory in positive psychology. Kaya yung mga estudyante ko before on positive psychology, alam na alam nila to, no, na kapag nag-aaral ka ng positive psychology, ang pinaka-issue dyan is subjective well-being, also known as happiness. It is a subfield in psychology where we try to study the mechanics, the psychological factors that lead to happiness. Kaya ilalagay ko tong lecture na to under positive psych. Now, for my former students, I know you remember this. Itong happiness na to or subjective well-being, ang origin nito nanggaling ito sa theory ni Ryan and Deci, also known as self-determination theory. This is one of the most important theories in positive psychology that focus on the issue of happiness or well-being. Actually, yung happiness and well-being, pareho lang yan. Happiness is the popular term. Subjective well-being is the more technical term. So, sinasagot ng self-determination theory yung question na paano ba sumaya ang tao. Ito yung classic na theory to refer to if you want to further understand happiness. So, I highly recommend basahin nyo yung articles ni Ryan and Deci on self-determination theory. Sa sobrang sikat niyan, marami pang mga authors na talagang laging ginagamit yung theory na yan when they study issues on well-being and happiness. Kaya ang dami-daming mga citations, no, ni Ryan and Deci from different authors. Kapag nagsusulat yung mga authors about happiness, almost surely, sureball, talagang masasite si Ryan and Deci. This is another good article I highly recommend that you read na ginamitan ng self-determination theory in connection to understanding happiness. So going back to our lecture, ang pinaka-claim natin for today is ipakita, para mas maintindihan nyo yung self-determination theory, ipakita na masaya, or in a more technical term, mataas ang well-being ni Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. So paano natin malalaman na masaya si Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden without administering a single happiness scale? Gagamitan nga natin ng self-determination theory. So, paano natin masisigurado na si Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden masaya nga? Kasi nga, meron silang basic elements of happiness according to self-determination theory. So, sabi ng theory, merong tatlong elements or ingredients para tumaas ang well-being ng tao: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. The more you have these three in your life, the more it predicts the overall happiness that you would feel. Kaya para sa mga taong malulungkot, bakit ka malungkot? Ang sasabihin ng self-determination theory, mababa ka siguro sa autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Bakit may mga tao masasaya sa buhay? Kasi punong-puno sila ng autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And by the way, side comment lang ako, in positive psychology research, itong mga variables na yan, lahat yan na may measure. May iba't ibang mga psychological tests that are designed to measure your autonomy, competence, relatedness, or even your happiness. Okay? Kaya posible talaga na pag-aralan ito quantitatively in the field of positive psych. So mabilisan lang, pag-usapan natin yung mga variables na yan para mas lumalim yung understanding nyo on happiness. Simulan natin sa happiness. In the literature, ano bang ibig sabihin ng happiness? This is a state, psychological state, wherein you have a dominance of positive emotions. So kapag punong-puno ka ng positive emotions towards yourself and other people, that leads to high productivity. At the same time, wala kang any form of mental illness. Yung dalawang bullet points na yan will define that a person is happy. So for those of you who are listening, given this definition, tanungin niyo yung sarili niyo kung masaya ba kayo. Paano mo malalaman kung masaya ka? According to self-determination theory, again, i-base nyo sa dalawang bullets na yan. Dominant ba sa'yo yung positive emotions towards yourself and others? Masaya ka ba sa sarili mo? At peace ka ba? Masaya ka ba sa piling ng ibang mga tao? Dapat pareho yon meron. Para ma-hit mo itong indicator number 1 of happiness. Okay? Another indicator is yung absence of mental illness. So kung wala kang diagnosis from DSM-5, thinking patterns mo, emotional patterns mo, action patterns mo, wala sa DSM-5, then you hit bullet number 2, meaning overall, happy ka. So kailangan itong dalawang bullets na to ma-hit mo para masabi mong happy ka in general. So ano ang nagpe-predict sa happiness according to self-determination theory? Ito ngang tatlo: autonomy, competence, relatedness. Pag autonomy, ibig sabihin meron kang sense of feeling na malaya kang gawin yung mga bagay na gusto mong gawin. Walang nagre-restrict sa'yo. Kung may gusto kang gawin, kaya mong gawin anytime you want. Kapag nafe-feel mo na ganun ka sa buhay mo, then meron kang autonomy. Competence naman, nafe-feel mo na mahalaga ka, na may silbi ka sa society. Meron kang mga bagay na kayang gawin and people respect you for that. Yung nasa-sense mo na meron kang bagay na magaling ka doon. Nafe-feel mo na magaling ka sa basketball or nasa-sense mo na magaling kang magsalita, magaling kang magturo, magaling kang mag-ayos ng kotse. When you have that kind of feeling na useful ka para sa ibang tao, para sa society in general, may competence ka. And then relatedness, nasa sense mo na okay ang relationship mo with other people. May mga tao kang minamahal at yung mga taong yon minamahal ka rin pabalik. So kapag ganyan ang connection mo with other people, ibig sabihin meron kang relatedness. So the more you have these three in your life, mataas ang autonomy, competence, and relatedness mo, most likely tumataas ang level of happiness. According to the self-determination theory, itong tatlong to are the powerful predictors of well-being. The higher you are in this tree, the higher your well-being becomes. So again, going back to the aim of this lecture, yan ang ipapakita natin that in the Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve were, meron silang tatlong yan. Kaya natin nasabing masaya si Adam and Eve. Meron silang autonomy, competence, and relatedness. So isa-isahin natin. Nasaan ang autonomy ni Adam and Eve sa Garden of Eden? Paulit-ulit in the book of Genesis, autonomy was expressed. Sa Genesis 1:29, makikita natin that God gave Adam and Eve the freedom to choose from any of the tree in the Garden of Eden for food. Malaya silang pwedeng pumili ng kakainin nila. Ang dami nilang choices, which is an expression of autonomy. Sa Genesis 2:16, ganun din. Sabi doon, and the Lord God commanded the man, you are free to eat from any tree in the garden. So, na-reinforce lang itong Genesis 1:29. Meron silang kalayaan na pumili kung ano ang gusto nilang kainin, which is again an expression of autonomy. Now, in world history, kung mapapansin ninyo, in connection to autonomy, ang mga tao, bumabagsak ang well-being kapag natetreten or nawawala yung autonomy nila. Especially during the time of imperialism when some nations would conquer another nation. You study world history, pare-pareho lang ng cycle eh. Merong isang mananakop, itetreten yung autonomy ng sasakupin. So kapag nangyari yun, babagsak yung well-being ng mga nasakop to the point kapag sobrang baba na ng well-being, sasabog yon towards rebellion. So lalaban na yung mga nasakop para umalis na yung mga mananakop and eventually they become successful, tataas na naman yung well-being, meron na naman silang peace in their society. Until darating na naman yung bagong mananakop, matitrete na naman yung kanilang autonomy, babagsak ang well-being, hanggang sa sasabog na naman sa rebellion, ganun na naman ang mangyayari. Very common pattern yan in world history. No, just to show you how important autonomy is in predicting well-being. Oras na itreten mo ang autonomy ng isang tao, ng isang nation, lalagpak ang well-being niyan hanggang sa sobrang baba na, it will explode to rebellion. Then gagawa sila ng paraan para paalisin yung mga mananakop na kumuha ng autonomy nila. Kaya ang autonomy talaga, malaking factor yan in predicting the overall well-being of a person or in this example of a nation. So again, going back to the Garden of Eden, meron si Adam and Eve ng autonomy. How about competence? Again, marami mga passages that showed na may competence na in the Garden of Eden. Sa Genesis 2:15, the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. The very fact that Adam was put into the garden to take care of it, ibig sabihin ang Diyos may believe kay Adam na kaya niyang pangalagaan yung garden na ginawa ng Diyos. So meron ng sense of competence si Adam. Alam niya na kaya niyang gawin yung pinapagawa ng Diyos sa kanya. Even in Genesis 2:19, that idea was reflected. Yan nga yung pinaka-reason, one of the reasons kung bakit ginawa ng Diyos ang tao. Now, the Lord God had formed out of the ground all the wild animals and all the birds in the sky. He brought them to the man to see what he would name them. The fact that God believed in humans, that they can name all the creatures He created, is a sign that human beings during this time had competence. The fact na kaya ni Adam na pangalanan itong mga animals na to na pagkarami-rami, I'm sure, during this time, kasi wala pang extinct during this time. So ang dami niyan, meron ng sense of competency Adam. How about relatedness? Meron na rin yan sa Garden of Eden. Unahin natin yung fact, before Eve came, si Adam may mga kasama ng mga animals. So hindi totoo na yung relatedness, lumabas lang yan nung dumating na si Eva. The fact na si Adam may mga kasama ng animals, that is already God's way of establishing relatedness in the garden. In a way, may contribution din yung presence ng animal sa buhay ni Adam everyday. Kaya ang point ko dito, let's not underestimate the companion of animals in our well-being. Even in modern day psychology, marami ng mga studies na ginawa dyan na meron talagang impact sa well-being ng tao kapag connected tayo with certain animals, specifically mga animals that we consider to be pets. May mga psychological effects na magaganda yan. One good study to read would be this one. Pwede nyong i-relate to sa positive psychology. So basically, ang sinasabi lang ng article dito na malaki ang naitutulong ng pets sa pagtaas ng well-being ng tao. And I'm not surprised given the first setup in the Garden of Eden. Relatedness having an effect on the well-being of human beings, saan nagsimula the connection between humans and animals. Kaya hanggang ngayon, na-experience pa rin natin yung effect na yan. That there are certain animals na talagang nakakapagpataas ng well-being natin. So shout out dyan sa mga nakikinig na merong mga pets. I'm sure you would agree with me. Diba? Yung mga pets na kasama nyo dyan sa bahay, hindi nyo talagang pwedeng i-deny that these pets make you happy. Alright? Other than the animals, of course, later on, fast forward, yung relatedness from animals na established na rin through another human being. In fact, God was very direct in Genesis 2:18. It is not good for a man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him. Take note, sinabi lang ng Diyos dito, it's not good for a man to be alone. Pero hindi niya sinabi that Adam was depressed. Kasi wala pang isang human being. Remember, meron na ngang animals. Masaya na rin si Adam na may mga animals. Pero mas pwede pa siyang sumaya kung yung isa pang being na ko-connect siya is also another human being. So that's what you mean when God said it is not good for a man to be alone. It could be better. His current level of happiness could be better if there's another human being. Kaya sa Genesis 2:21, ginawa na si Eva. And this is the first time that relatedness was established between humans. Remember, before this, it's between humans and animals. Nung ginawa na si Eva, human to human na, nagkaroon ng first human to human link that led to relatedness. And true enough, when Adam saw Eve for the first time, nagkaroon ng nag-shoot up yung well-being niya. I want you to use your imagination here. The man said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man. So I want you to picture how Adam was saying these words. Hindi ito parang wala lang kay Adam. This is now the bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. He didn't say it that way. Adam was overjoyed in this passage. Kaya sobrang overwhelming yung pagkakasabi ni Adam dito. Sobrang tumaas yung well-being niya. Because finally, there is another human being that he can share his life with. Okay? So, those are the two different ways relatedness was established in the Garden of Eden. Animal to humans, human to human. So, in conclusion, as we end this lecture, no, so ano ang naipakita natin dito? Remember our claim, Adam and Eve were happy in the Garden of Eden. Bakit? According to self-determination theory, kung gagamitin mo to as a lens to answer this question, dahil sa Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve had autonomy, competence, and relatedness, which are very powerful predictors of happiness. Kaya kahit hindi ka mag-administer ng test kay Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, just using this theory, pwede mo nang masabi, pwede mo nang ma-estimate, pwede mo nang masigurado that Adam and Eve were happy in the Garden of Eden. But a common question that my students ask me whenever I teach this is, if they were so happy in the Garden of Eden, bakit pa sila nag-disobey sa Diyos? Which is a very valid question. Kung nandoon na sila sa perfect level of happiness, bakit pa sila may motivation to disobey God? Ang sagot ko dyan, kasi nagkaroon ng ganitong proseso. Happiness devaluation. Ibig sabihin ng happiness devaluation, yung level of happiness mo, bumaba yung value. Naging discontented ka sa current level of happiness mo. And that is the one that pushed them to disobey God. At saan nagsisimula yung happiness devaluation? As I said here, comparison. Nagkaroon kasi ng comparison point si Adam and Eve of what is a happier life. Remember the serpent? Yan ang ginawa ng serpent. Nagpaint siya ng isang life scenario where Adam and Eve could be happier than where they are right now. Which of course, dahil nanggaling ito sa serpent, we know is a lie. After all, ang demonyo talagang father of lies yan. So ito yung sinabi nung serpent, no? You will not certainly die, for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. So yung scenario na yan, human beings being like God, eyes opened, knowing good and evil, nung narinig ng mga tao yan, nung narinig ni Eve yan, nagkaroon ngayon siya ng idea of a higher level of happiness compared to the current level of happiness where they are currently in. Nakumpara niya na pwede pa pala tayong mas maging masaya. Yes, masaya na tayo ngayon, pero there's another way para mas maging masaya pa tayo. Unfortunately, yung ganong psychological process of comparing where you are and where else you could be, which is way much better, na devalue, bumaba ngayon yung happiness that they currently feel. At the back of their heads, ito yung iniisip nila, we can still be happier than this. And this kind of thinking that the serpent started, that the serpent initiated, yan ngayon yung nagpababa ng overall happiness ni Adam and Eve. Therefore, yun ngayon yung nag-push sa kanila to disobey God and eat the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Kaya, given this points, no, one of the psychological lessons that we can learn here is, one way to sustain our happiness is through contentment. Yan ang sinira ng serpent. Yan ang ginamit ng serpent para i-tempt si Adam and Eve to disobey God. Sinira niya yung contentment ng tao. Ultimate happiness na yung nararanasan ng mga tao during this time. But the serpent made them think there could be more. This is not yet the entirety of happiness that you can experience. Meron pang mas maganda dyan that God does not want you to experience. And I know the way how you can experience that. Yun na, binigay na niya yung kasinungalingan na to, and Adam and Eve fell into sin. Kaya in the Bible, one of the psychological qualities that is highly valued, kung mapapansin ninyo, especially Bible readers, is contentment. Talagang all over the scriptures, contentment is always being promoted. At isa sa mga partners ng contentment, how can you be more contented? How can you develop the attitude of contentment? Gratitude. Kaya paulit-ulit sa Bible, pinipreach na dapat we are thankful for all the things that we receive. Gratitude is the key to contentment. Hindi ka naghahangad ng mas marami pa. Hindi ka naghahangad ng mas okay pa. Masaya ka na, pinagpapasalamat mo na yung mga bagay na meron ka. Because the Bible knows, the moment that you don't give thanks to the things that you have right now, rather ang ginawa mo, nagkumpara ka pa sa mga bagay na wala ka at yung ibang tao meron, masisira ang contentment mo, mawawala yung gratitude mo, that pushes you to discontentment, which is a sin. Kaya nga in connection to this, i-reverse lang natin to. Bakit sa tingin nyo, kino-consider na deadly sin, one of the deadly sins, yung envy. Yung greed, I mean. Why? Because greed is the opposite of contentment. At nangyayari yung greed kapag nawawala yung gratitude mo. Imposible kasing magkaroon ka ng greed kung may gratitude ka. Kasi kung may gratitude ka, you savor, you appreciate the things that you have. So partners yan. Nag-practice ka ng gratitude, ang resulta, contentment. Kung wala kang gratitude, ano mangyayari? Yun. Doon ngayon lumalabas yung greed. And that starts with comparison. The moment na kumpara ka na ng kumpara sa mga bagay na meron ng ibang tao at wala ka, kinukumpara mo na yung mga bagay na meron ka sa mga bagay na meron yung iba, at mas maraming maganda yung ibang tao kumpara sa meron ka, ayan na. That comparison leads to greed. And that greed, habang nag-grow yan inside our psychological system, nagiging toxic yan. At maraming tayong mga studies dyan. We don't have enough time to talk about those studies. You just search the literature. That the more a person becomes greedy, the more bumababa yung kanyang psychological well-being. And in connection to that, ano ang very popular psychological concept that promotes greed? That is very popular in today's culture, materialism. The belief that our life is measured by the things that we have. At marami mga tao ganyan ngayon. Yung value nila nakadepende sa mga material things that they own. Nakadepende sa amount of money na nakatago sa mga bank accounts nila. Nakadepende kung ilan yung kotse nila. Nakadepende kung gaano kalaki yung bahay nila. Kaya yung mga taong ganyan, mataas yung level of materialism, very prone to greed, which makes their psychological system very prone to a number of psychological disorders, lalong-lalo na depression. Again, marami tayong mga lectures na binigay na dyan in the past. You can just search my channel that really shows how materialism destroys our mental health. What's with materialism? Because materialism teaches you to compare, to become discontented, and to feel greed. Kaya nga, in connection to greed, isa rin yan sa mga reasons why in the 10 Commandments, isa ang coveting sa mga mortal sins na hindi mo dapat i-commit. Diba? Yan ang pinaka-essence yan sa Exodus 20:17. Bakit hindi ka dapat mag-covet? Bakit hindi ka dapat mag-compare kung anong wala ka at meron yung neighbor mo? Because the Bible knows how to sustain happiness. Kaya again, for those of you who are listening, don't think that the 10 Commandments, binigay ng Diyos yan kasi killjoy siya. Just the opposite. The 10 Commandments was given to us. Bakit? Kasi yung 10 Commandments na yan, especially in connection to our lecture, itong Commandment number 10, pag ginawa mo yan, masusustain yung happiness mo. Kasi pag sinunod mo yung do not covet, hindi ka magko-compare. Rather, ano madedevelop sa'yo? Gratitude, leading to contentment, which sustains your happiness. See? God knows best. Because He created happiness in the first place. He knows how it works. So between God and the material world, sana maniwala kayo kung paano maging mas masaya based on God's instructions more than the world's instructions. Alright? So, ang application natin in today's lecture, napakasimple lang. Kung gusto mong masumaya, according to self-determination theory, anong gagawin mo? Pataasin mo yung tatlo. Autonomy, competence, and relatedness. You can do that in 3 ways. For those of you who are listening, you can ask yourself, ano ba yung mga efforts na pwede mong gawin, personal efforts para tumaas yung any of the 3 or all of the 3, ideally, autonomy, competence, relatedness. Ano kaya ang pwede mong palitan sa environment mo para tumaas yung ACR mo? Baka naman kasi kaya ka malungkot, you are in an environment na araw-araw, yung environment na yon pinapababa yung ACR mo. Who are the people that you need to be with? Malaking factor din yan. May mga tao kasi kapag kasama mo sila, tumataas ang ACR mo, sumasaya ka. May mga situations din o may mga tao din sa buhay mo na kapag sila lagi mong kasama, lagpak ang ACR mo. So what do? You spend more time with people who increases your ACR more than lowers down your ACR. Kaya ang pagiging masaya, may factor din dyan kung sino yung lagi mong kasama. Kung sino yung pinipili mong makasama. So those are some of the guidelines, no, para mas maging happier ka via self-determination theory. Pataasin yung autonomy, competence, and relatedness through these different ways. Personal efforts, environmental changes, and the people that you are with. Okay, so sana by understanding Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, mas nakilala ninyo yung self-determination theory. If you have any questions, comments, some other examples, ilagay nyo lang dyan sa baba. Sir Howard here. Sana marami kayong natutunan. Until the next lecture, God bless everyone. Bye-bye.